Let's melt into this album together. Welcome to Everyone Does Music, where today we're looking at an album commissioned from my friend Maeve with Depeche Mode and their album Violator. I've listened to the band off and on in the years, but never really sat down with them properly, so this is a good chance to do just that. This album would go on to be one of their most successful, if not the most successful, and represents a niche yet very familiar and memorable piece of 90s electronic synth and or gothic-leaning music. I will note that upon listening to both the original album's format as well as the 2006 reissue, I'll be looking at the 2006 reissue with its addition of the tracks Dangerous, Mephisto, Seedling, and others, as I feel it creates a more complete package almost 16 years after the fact that not just adds into the experience, but enhances it. So, without any more big words or associations, let's get into it. What stands out to me the most in this is the general presence of the multiple genres I just noted very briefly in the intro there, in varying strengths from track to track. At its core, this is an alternative album, but the more you dive in, the more you realize just how much lies to be discovered and dissected, from decidedly more dark vibes found in a song like Mephisto, to similarly bright changes and tinges here and there. Mephisto especially is a song that I enjoyed going through the album for its simplistic melody that relies on atmosphere as feeling as opposed to an overall traditional song's mechanics to get its point across. Devoid of all lyrics, the band has gone on to say that this song is the backing track to a fictional film, or rather idea, of Elvis playing the devil, and I think there's a distinct gothic essence within the song itself. I think due to the overall inherent danceability of a lot of Depeche albums and songs, so it does lend itself to that idea very readily. It's easy to imagine an overtly charismatic, albeit campy devil played by one of the bigger names in pre-2000s, 90s, 80s, whatever, to rock and roll. It's an easy image to form. The other two instrumental tracks added in via the 2006 reissue of the album being Seedling and Kylid, both increase the almost tense atmosphere too, giving similar instrumental songs with progressions that offer both tense and relaxing vibes. For more typical Depeche Mode energy, on the top single of the album, Personal Jesus, sits in the early part of the album, offering a very contradicting soundscape that uses its difference in guitar and bass to almost bright electronic moments to create a hard-to-resist track. Not even yet noting the lyricism from Martin Gore, who coined both the lyrical themes as well as the song's general idea to be based off of Priscilla Presley's quote, in which she mentioned that her husband, of course, the massively popular Elvis Presley, as her own personal Jesus, or rather someone to look to for secondhand comfort, affirmation, or confession within comfort or discomfort. Anyone can be a personal Jesus in an overly personal and poignant way, or perhaps just a direct, clear-as-day scenario. Going from a more bouncy song to a much more subdued, emotional, and nighttime-feeling song, we get Waiting for the Night a couple songs after this. There's both an optimistic feeling to derive from lyrics as well as an inherently pessimistic one at times, but the latter feeling doesn't cancel out or provide any sort of detriment to the former. In the bridge, Dave Gahan and Martin Gore sing about the world seeming less rose-tinted, done so by squinting their eyes and trying to avoid seeing the darker elements of a situation, and then therefore leading to things looking much better with this restricted vision than with fully open eyes, which can be interpreted literally or metaphorically with equal strength. I mentioned it briefly in the beginning, but the biggest strength Depeche Mode has is the band's ability to bend, meld, and shapeshift into many different aspects of a similar vein of alternative music. From the undeniably synthy Enjoy the Silence to the purely instrumental tracks as described before, their flexibility is palpable, as no song on this album feels weak in any sense, instead using larger difference that measures equally and similarity on a wider scope to create something not just enjoyable, but nearly perfect within the album and band's space, making a pure recipe for success. Another strong case to make for this album's status as near perfect, or at the very least largely and intensely powerful, is the fact that many songs on the album go past general song lengths, with Enjoy the Silence specifically using instrumental verses to further an already fantastic song into a longer, dreamier version that stands as with the hidden track included. The shortest non-instrumental song on the album, World in My Eyes, is the album opener with a strong percussion-influenced scratch at your brain and ears, which provides a not quite adrenalistic song, but one that's sure to get you moving and excited at least, while not wasting any time or proving weaker by comparison in length. It's not often I find an album that speaks so clearly to me in a personal or critical sense, with little to criticize but much to talk positively on, but this album does just that with undeniable cause. Violator is an album not just special within its own space, but going past it to outdo many others at the time for its ability to explore and expand upon preconceived ideas not just presented by the band, but by the genres in which they sit. Many attempts to create something great are few times accomplished with such ease as this. So it's for these reasons that Violator by Depeche Mode gets a 9.1 out of 10. And that's the review. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're staying hydrated. I'll see you next time.